The first seal breaks, not with a crash, but with calm. A white horse appears. Its rider wears a crown, but carries no arrows, a bow empty. Still, people follow him, not by force, but by desire. He offers unity, stability, peace. But peace without cost is always a trap. This rider doesn't conquer with war. He conquers with promises. And every promise costs more than anyone realizes until it's far too late to resist. Many see the white horse and think, this must be the savior. But that's the deception. He mimics the Messiah. He speaks like a leader, smiles like a friend, leads like a hero, and yet behind the image is control. Not loud, not cruel, subtle, quiet, strategic. He doesn't force the world to obey. He makes it want to. And when people surrender willingly, no chains are needed, only illusions. He comes during chaos, and chaos always creates hunger, for hope, for order, for direction. He offers all of it, but at a cost not shown up front. Laws change, speech shifts, freedoms shrink, all behind a smiling face. He promises a new age, a better world, but only for those who comply. The rest, labeled as obstacles, and obstacles must be silenced, not with violence, just erasure. What makes this rider so dangerous is not what he does, but how people react. They cheer, they welcome him, they defend him. Even when truth fades, even when control tightens, they say, he's protecting us. And when fear wears the mask of peace, resistance looks like rebellion. The line between truth and deception disappears. And that's when his victory is sealed, not on the battlefield, but in the heart of the people. Religions speak of false messiahs. Governments speak of global unity. The media speaks of one voice, and somehow all point in the same direction, toward the rider. He becomes the center of trust, the voice of reason, the guide in the storm. But what if the storm is his own creation? What if the chaos he calms is the same chaos he designed? That's the genius of deception. Hide the cause, present the cure. People don't question him because questioning feels wrong. He brings results, he calms fears, he unites nations. But unity without freedom is control, and calm without truth is hypnosis. He doesn't silence critics, he convinces them to stay quiet. And soon, the silence becomes normal. Dissent feels dangerous. Doubt becomes betrayal. That's not leadership. That's domination wearing a crown of peace. His weapon isn't violence, it's narrative. He controls the story people tell themselves about their future, their enemies, their role in this new world. And once people believe his version, no other version can exist. He writes history while it's still happening. And once the truth becomes flexible, the foundation of reality begins to crack. That's how empires fall, smiling, clapping, blind. He doesn't ride with armies, but with influence, not with fire, but with fear dressed as peace. He says, you don't need to fight, just trust me. And they do. They hand over their decisions, their doubts, even their beliefs. He becomes not just a leader, but a symbol. And symbols are powerful. They don't need logic, they need emotion. And emotion blinds faster than any army ever could. Behind the rider's smile is something ancient. He doesn't come from nowhere. His spirit has echoed through history, in every tyrant welcomed with applause, in every empire built on silence. He's not new, just returning, repeating, perfecting. And now, in an age of speed and noise, his quiet strategy works better than ever. He no longer needs to hide. The world is too distracted to notice. He promises progress, but progress at what price? He offers peace, but what kind of peace demands silence? The rider moves fast, but subtly. He doesn't need to attack. He makes people lower their own defenses. They open the gate for him, welcome him in. And by the time they see the truth, the gate is gone, the chains are locked, and the bow, once empty, now aims at what little freedom remains. In the shadows of progress, the rider works. He partners with institutions, molding laws to his design. Media amplifies him, science justifies him, faith blesses him. Even many who resist find themselves trapped, speaking his language unknowingly. He isn't obvious, because the best deception is the one that hides within what's familiar. Look at any system today: banking, government, social media. Many are intertwined with the rider's rise. Each rule he reshapes, each narrative he controls, each fear he exploits becomes a link in his chain. And the frightening part, those links look like progress. People celebrate them, unaware they're applauding the tightening of their own cages. He doesn't enter through force. He enters through consent, through persuasion, through fear, through a world exhausted by chaos. He offers solutions to problems he helped create. He speaks in calm tones while the world is in panic. And in that calm lies his greatest tool: trust. Once trust is earned, control follows willingly. Resistance looks courageous, but it fades without clarity. People confuse complexity for truth, noise for wisdom, fear for prophecy. The rider floods the world with labels: extremists, radicals, conspiracy. Anyone who questions becomes suspect, and through that, suspicion silences voices before they speak. The battlefield becomes internal, invisible, till it's too late. But this isn't the end, it's the test. To see who listens, who watches, who discerns. The first rider is not the final judge. He is the opening act. Behind him lie more darkness, deeper trials. How we respond to his rise will determine whether we survive what comes next. The crown sits now, powerful, deceptive, waiting. What will you do with yours? The rider doesn't destroy with fire. He burns minds, ideas, traditions. He turns right into wrong and wrong into love. He repaints the walls of morality with the brush of tolerance. Not real tolerance, but manipulation. He says, let's coexist, while erasing truth beneath the surface. And in that erasure, the soul of a generation vanishes quietly, without a single protest. He whispers not in fear, but in comfort. He gives people what they want, not what they need. Promises safety without sacrifice, unity without values, progress without cost. And people accept it, because comfort blinds. The moment the world chooses comfort over conviction, the rider wins, not with force, but with a smile that feels like hope, and a lie that sounds like truth. How do you fight what feels good? How do you resist someone who gives peace, food, unity? That's the brilliance of his deception. He conquers through gratitude. And the more people depend on him, the less they question. He becomes not a ruler, but a necessity. And when leaders become necessities, they're no longer accountable, they're worshipped. We are not at war with the rider's weapons. We are at war with his ideas. And that's the hardest battle, not of blood, but of belief. He doesn't destroy buildings, he redefines meaning. And once he controls the definitions, he controls reality. The world may still look the same, but beneath the surface, the truth has been reprogrammed. And most don't even notice. Still, the rider has one weakness: awareness. The moment people see beyond the charm, beyond the crown, beyond the bow, his spell weakens. His power is illusion. It feeds on ignorance. But when truth rises, deception fades. That's why his greatest fear is not resistance. It's awakening. Because once people truly wake up, the first seal begins to crack again. This time in reverse. This rider doesn't vanish when exposed. He adapts. He changes forms, shifts narratives, finds new masks. Just when you think you've named him, he evolves. But awareness is still power. Every eye opened is a chain broken. Every truth spoken is a crack in his illusion. And every soul awakened becomes a light in the fog of lies he spreads. One light can expose an empire of shadows. Some will say, it's just politics. Others will call it coincidence. But those with spiritual eyes see the pattern. The rider's methods are ancient, his agenda eternal. His success depends on our sleep, on our distractions, on our need for easy answers. But truth doesn't come easy, and light only rises when someone dares to strike a spark in the dark. History repeats because deception never changes. It only modernizes. Different names, different languages, same tactics, same blindness. But we have something ancient too, discernment. The rider hopes we forget it, that we trust emotion over spirit, speed over silence, hype over holiness. But discernment isn't loud, it's still. And in the stillness, you hear the truth. The crown he wears is borrowed, the peace he offers is temporary, the power he holds is permitted for a time. But his ride has an expiration. And when the final trumpet sounds, every lie will collapse, every mask will melt, and the true king will ride. Until then, we're called not to panic, but to prepare, not to fear, but to discern, because the white horse gallops loudest when no one's listening. So now you've seen the first rider, not as fiction, but as a force, real, present, persuasive. His bow still looks empty, but the damage is already done. Now it's your turn. Will you stay blind behind comfort? Or will you rise, question, prepare? The deception is strong, but not stronger than truth. And the crown, it doesn't belong to him. It never did.